Hello. I hope you're having a great day. My name is Steve Kalem, and I've been in the mortgage industry for over 30 years. And in all that time, I've never seen a scenario quite like the market we have right now. And that is where we have a high interest rate environment coupled with a low inventory of home environment. The combination is impacting the affordability of purchasing a home for the buyer, and it's also impacting the marketability of selling the home for the best bottom value, bottom dollar for the seller. In this kind of market, it behooves both buyers and sellers to think outside the box, to consider the best approach towards buying or selling the home. And to that end, I'd like to illustrate how a simple seller credit towards the buyer's interest rate, reducing the interest rate for the buyer, can maximize the seller's bottom line and at the same time create incredible savings and benefits to a lucky buyer. So let me share my screen here, and I'm going to show you both sides of this. This is extremely powerful, and it's a collaboration in reality if this happens, if we can implement this. So I've got four vertical columns here in an example of a 1,000,005 listings. And column one shows that listing. I've entered the information for the transaction just to show the comparison and how this thing floats out. The typical transaction is 20% down at this level, so I put an 80% loan, and you go down that first column and you see the monthly payment, the rate, and the cash to close. Now, column two represents the typical way that this transaction is negotiated, and that would be off price, back and forth, consider different terms. And in this case, I'm showing that the seller has agreed to sell the home for 95% of the list price. I think that's a satisfactory level for a seller in this market. Most homes are selling between 95 and 97%. These are homes that are not in competitive situations. And I think any seller would accept a 95% offer in today's market. At 95%, that translates out, it's in blue there, that the seller is actually selling it for 1,425. So they have come $75,000 off their list price. The buyer is happy because they've negotiated a better price. And you go down and you see what it really means there to the buyer. It's $394 less per month, and it's like $17,000 less out of his pocket. It's nice. It doesn't rock their world. It doesn't change their world. If, however, the seller would have agreed, column three, would have agreed to buy down the buyer's interest rate 2% from 6 7/8 to 4 7/8. If he would have bought down that interest rate to 4 7/8, the buyer would have netted incredible benefits, and the seller would have netted more out also. Take a look at column three. The cost to do that would be about $29,000. $29,000 minus 1,000,005 is actually 1,471,000. Made a mistake there. It's not 477. 1,471,000. That is about $50,000, $46,000 more than negotiating and getting the house for 95% of the list price. That the seller is happier. But what does it do for the buyer? Go down column three. The payment is $1,500 plus less every month. The cash to close doesn't change because the seller has purchased that lower payment for the buyer. And so it's an incredible savings for the buyer. It's such an amazing savings that if you go to column four, straight across, you see that that is the same payment as a home for 1,215,000. Those people who can afford that payment, who are looking at that type of a payment, are looking at homes for 1,215,000. That's $285,000 lower home that they'd actually be the same payment. So this lucky buyer got a home for 1,000,005, and he's making the payment for 1,215,000 home. Now let me stop this and show the other ways that this plays through with a buyer. And this is the buyer side of the story. Same exact chart. Let's just go to number three. The first year, the payment would be 4 7/8. The second year, the payment would be 5 7/8. And years 3 on, the payment would be the market 6 7/8. We said the savings would be $1,500 per month for the first year. If you go up here, it shows that it would be $18,000 the first year savings and a little bit less than $9,200 savings the second year. In all, about $27,500 in savings to the buyer. But that's not all. Most economists believe, actually 9 out of 9 believe, that rates will be lower in the next 6 months to 2 years. What this does is it allows the buyer to navigate that 2-year period. The reason rates are high now is because the Fed fighting inflation, and they're at the end of that cycle. They've said that they may have one more increase and then they're going to start dropping. So that's being expected. So if that buyer in the home is paying $7,850 per month, and then anytime throughout actually the whole first 2 years, they refinance, and we would refinance at no cost for them. They refinance, go to a lower payment. Whatever is left of that $27,500 savings would come back to them. It stays with them. It pays down their loan. So they don't use it or lose it. They're actually getting that benefit in their loan payment, in their equity. Okay, let me stop the share and come back here. Now, this is an incredible strategy. It helps both the buyer and helps the seller. It's best implemented either from the beginning on the listing. I'm happy to do a video like this that's shorter and just for the side, from the side of the buyer, saying the benefit of the exclusive financing. Or it's also good when you're negotiating, when you're reaching an impasse, or when the seller wants to show how they can make a better deal for a higher price than what the buyer's counter offer might have been. I can put one of these sheets together and show the buyer or the seller why their position is better, given the implementation of the seller credit towards the buyer's interest rate. If there's any way I can help you answer any questions or put together a customized presentation for a listing or for any part of the transaction, please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions or to do so. Thank you very much. I hope you continue to have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.